What? What is going on, everybody? Hello, all you stylists from the back room. We've got a banger this week. Everything old becomes new again. What? How many times are we going to hear this? And then we're talking about hair extensions. I've got the quiz. John's got your motivation. Here we go. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
I am excellent. I am, after being out of touch for such a while, I'm completely blown away for the fact that coming up in May, we have another 7-hour class that is sold out from what I understand.
May 19th is sold out. So we've had so much request. We added a third date, and that one is, to my shock, to my surprise, it's selling steadily. Steadily? Is that a word?
Steadily. And that one is June.
It's Monday, June 16th. Again, in Downers Grove. Go to hcbbeauty.com, get your spot, because if that thing is going the way it's going, that one's gonna fill up fast.
That's just truly amazing to me. Truly amazing.
It's wild.
Well, we're fortunate. We're very fortunate. We're fortunate for all you guys out there that believe in us and actually think we've got something important to give you. Ha! You're wrong. But
we have 7 hours.
Oh, that's it. All right, we're just gonna sit here and listen to these two idiots talk for 7 hours.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, how's your week been? I mean, so far, Mondays, but you never stop working. So, in a week since we've all seen you, how's your week been?
That's the interesting thing, how you say that, right? Did you realize yesterday or this weekend was Easter Sunday?
I did not know until I was informed that I actually had to get dressed like an adult.
I found out Saturday night, like late Saturday night before bed. And then, Sunday morning I was reminded. So that's the weird thing about working 7 days a week, is just one day bleeds into the next. So it's like, how was your past week? I don't know. How was the past couple of days? Yeah, it's been good.
The same thing for me. Aaron said something to me on Saturday, and Saturday was such a nuts day. And I went, oh, okay, yeah. I went to bed. I woke up, came back from the gym, and Aaron's like, are you getting dressed? And I'm like, for what? And she's like, it's Easter. I'm like, oh my gosh. That's not exactly what I said, but yeah. And then I had to get dressed like an adult and actually go spend time with the fam. But yeah,
it's cool to see the little kiddos running around, though,
Oh, and then and then we went to a brunch, which I am a brunch destroyer.
Brunch is amazing. Brunch is the best. I had for the first time. Have you had stuffed French toast?
Yes.
I've never had it before. It's the first time. I don't know why I've been missing out my whole life. I can't believe I've been missing out.
Yeah. Any breakfast food, I'm pretty much down. I'm in, except lox. I'm not a lox guy. Don't like lox.
Okay. All right.
Not fish.
I like it.
But we ate like an animal. I ate like an animal, and and pretty much got absolutely nothing done for the rest of the day because I was just rolling.
Food coma.
It was. So anyway, do you have our quiz, young man?
When formulating color for gray coverage, which base is the most effective? An ash base, gold base, a neutral base, a natural base, or a violet base?
Phew.
Less.
Phew. There we go. See, now this is a very subjective question because old school people
Mhm.
are going to tell you gold is missing from gray hair. I'm going to go with a natural base.
Okay. So if gold is what's missing from the hair, then the gold base would make sense. But if you're saying a natural base, what is the thought behind it?
Well, the natural is because you're getting all three primary colors.
What if you're not missing all three primary colors?
But still, that's just your base. That's not your tone. That's just your base.
Thought I can trick you a little bit.
Nice try there, big guy.
All right. What happens when you over direct a section during cutting? Does it create unwanted weight? Does it reduce volume? It creates increased length in the opposite direction, or does it remove too much density?
Over directing. Yes.
I actually tried on this week's quiz. I didn't goof off like I did the past couple of weeks.
I'm going with yes.
All right. What happens when you
what's the
over-direct
answer? What's the answer?
I got you, buddy. I got you. What happens when you over-direct a section during cutting? So over-directing is you take hair from one side and you are purposefully drawing it across to the opposite side. That is over-direction. You're not taking the section from the same side and bringing it down where it belongs with natural fall. You are purposely over-directing it. You're drawing it across to the opposite direction. That is going to increase length because you're taking it in that opposite direction. Right. If I draw this hair from here and bring it all the way over here and cut, all of this hair that traveled, there's not going to be a lot that got cut off. So by the time I let this fall back down to natural fall, I'm saving length. So if you're scissor happy like I am, over directing is your best friend because then you don't end up unintentionally chopping more hair than what you want, you know?
Okay. And you are technically also because of that basically you're creating under layers, you're actually reducing some bulk on the ends too.
You are slightly because it depends how you cut. If you take a straight cut, then you're going to reduce a lot of bulk. Right. If you angle it slightly and point cut through, then you won't reduce as much bulk. You know, if you feather it out with a razor or texturizing shit, then how you do the cut is going to determine how much volume you lose. But the technique of over directing is for the purpose of saving as much length as possible.
Right. Get that. I get that. That's like back in the day when we used to do increase layering and bring everything just straight forward.
We should bring that up in the May class, in the June class as well too.
Actually, that's in the class because that's part of that that cut.
Oh, that's right. I was doing it naturally without thinking about it, and then everybody pointed out that I'm cutting. What did she say? What did they point out? The one stylist said, "Does it make a difference that I'm cutting under my hand rather than over my hand?" And then that spawned a whole discussion in of itself too.
Right, because they all freaked out when you were cutting on top of your knuckles.
I did not think that was going to be such a. I didn't realize it was going to get the attention that it did. Yeah, I didn't do that on purpose. All right. When lifting a client, this color question. When lifting a client from level 4 to level 9, what underlining pigment must be neutralized? Blue, red, orange, yellow, or orange?
Red, orange.
Red, orange. You got to look at that contributing base, man. That is the thing. You can't just say brassy. That's the mistake that is commonly made way too much. And you gotta really, there is a difference between red orange, orange, yellow orange, yellow, gold yellow, and then pale yellow. I mean, there is, it
Right.
just keeps going up and down the line, you know?
Well, and that falls back to when we teach, when we teach our lightning classes, knowing where each color, what level each color lives.
Where
You
each
know,
color lives.
and I can share a it's a shameless plug for the new All Nutrient 9V. I had done some highlights. Very busy, running. And there was some orange undertones on these highlights I did, and I went in with 9V, Keratin 9V, and just a touch. I put maybe about 5 grams of clear in it, just for a little more to shear it out a little bit, and it was the best looking beach blonde I've done in a long time. It was awesome. It was awesome. And the girl was like, "No, don't put toner in my hair. It's going to turn orange." Because someone, no. Someone at some point in her blonding career tried to tone her with ammoniated toner, her highlights.
Oh, you know, that should be a topic. We should make that a topic in itself.
But it came out gorgeous, and I let it process. I let the product do what it's supposed to do. It wasn't just get it on and 3 minutes later rinse it off and just get some, deposit on, because I knew 3 shampoos from now, what's it going to look like? So I let it process, and she should have some durability to it too. So anyway, yes.
9V is awesome.
9V is awesome.
Which tool is ideal for creating soft, seamless layers on long hair? Would it be texturizing shears? Would it be a razor? Would it be a clipper? Or would it be a round brush?
What? How do we go use 3 cutting implements and 1 styling tool?
It's
a razor. What is it? Is a razor round brush?
Chemical haircut. You have those brassy straw burnt ends, and then when you're round brushing, you just see the hair dusting off by itself. Because
I'm going to go with a razor.
That happened to you?
Yes, I have actually. Or where you put your brush down and there's a lot of hair wrapped around it.
There's more hair in the brush than there was in that section of the hair that you just did.
I'm going to go to razor.
Gonna go with the razor. Razor is the easiest way to create layering. It really is.
If you know what you're doing with it.
Man, that's the thing, right? There's a learning curve to using a razor, and so many people get nervous.
There's a big learning curve. Razoring is something that should be talked about later on, because man, if you know what you're doing with a razor, you can create a beautiful haircut. I use my razor a lot for texturizing too.
I gotta make myself a note. So talk about razor cutting, and then what was the other thing we just said like a minute ago, and I can't even remember anymore?
Wow, you're asking me?
The toning, right? I got to go back and rewatch this. We're gonna rewatch this.
Go back and rewatch
this. That's got to be a whole topic in itself. We were just saying a minute ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our memory should be a topic too.
Geez, forget about it. It'll be the shortest discussion topic ever. I always did. This was a terrible joke, but I always used to say, like, I'm practicing for senility. When I get old, I'm going to be a pro. And joke's on me, because dear Lord, am I freaking... I remember some things, but short term, forget it, man.
Like my dad used to say, he couldn't wait to become senile because he'd get to make new friends every day.
Oh, that's hilarious. So that's terrible. That's hilarious. Oh, that's awesome.
That's how twisted he was.
Hey, you know what though? I mean, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is.
It's
It is.
unfortunate.
It is. Is that it for the quiz? What else you got for me here, Chief? Anything else?
I mean, we keep going, or I could save them for next week.
Well, did we do 5 or did we do 4?
Yes.
Okay.
Talking about memory.
All right. So then on to our next subject. What do you got for me there, guy?
I don't know.
I don't
Because
know.
everything I can't remember, then when I start doing it from muscle memory, automatically that's a new thing. So
Okay.
it never existed. I invent everything every day.
I've got something for you because it's something that makes me kind of giggle. Because now, with the both of us and a bunch of you guys out there watching, we've been in this business for a while. And it is amazing to me, truly, in our industry, especially, what's old becomes new again. Everything from all the way, like I think we mentioned it last week or the week before. The blow dryer round brushes that like our moms used to have or our grandmas used to have, all of a sudden those are quite the rage now. I remember when balayage became big with I forget the person's name when she became like the Bali Lama or something like that. And I went, wait, that's hair painting. We used to do that, everything retreads itself in our industry, which is kind of cool. But then there's those of us that have seen it cycle through something through once or twice, and you're like, you kind of sometimes go, nah, we used to do that differently here. Let me show you how to do this, the way we used to. But the new technique, the new twist on it isn't always a bad thing.
Oh my God. Okay. I got to send you this video. You got to remind me. You know Weird Al,
Yeah.
the singer.
Yeah.
So you remember the song he made, Amish Paradise?
Oh, sure.
Okay. I just saw the video yesterday. It was a short. It's the same dude. He's just playing like a son, a father, and a grandfather, right?
Okay.
Kid comes up and he's like, "Hey, Dad, check this out," and he starts playing Amish Paradise from Weird Al, and the dad's looking at him, going, shaking his head at him. So he plays Coolio, Gangster Paradise, and the son goes, "That's the original, huh?" And then the grandfather gets up and he's shaking his head at both of them, and he plays Stevie Wonder. What was it? Oh God, what was the original song called? Something Paradise. Oh, I got to look it up now. God bless. But talk about everything old becomes new.
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder in 1976 made this song.
Yeah.
God, it's gonna make me mental now. Something Paradise. And then Coolio remade it, and then Weird Al remade it.
Yeah.
There
Well,
is. We talk about this before in this channel. I've talked to you about this dozens of times before. There's only five basic haircuts.
yeah.
So how are we creating so many different styles off of the 5 basic haircuts?
It's the blending of each of the haircuts. It's a haircut on top of a haircut on top of a haircut sometimes, right?
So how many different variations of the same thing can you recall? Have you seen?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about haircuts, let's talk about, we'll go all the way back to the 1970s with the Farrah Fawcett haircut. That was the hot haircut, right?
Okay.
And now we're going to fast forward to past 2 years, maybe. Let's call it 2023. We get the butterfly, which is just a version of the Farrah Fawcett. The difference is we're not doing this. You're not doing the sausage roll curling iron.
The curling back.
Yeah. So with that being said, there's an example. Like I said, balayage to hair painting. I mean, You could go with all these people that are doing but we've done the transverse of it now, where back in the day when we used to, our highlight clients, when we used to do root taps on them, root bumps, or base lift on them, and now what are we doing? Now we're doing shadow root, but it's still the same thing. It's still the same thing. You know, it's amazing in our industry how everything comes full circle. Like, I remember back when I first came into the business, was it? I can't remember which artist it was, where he had 3 texturizing shears in his hand.
Oh yeah, okay.
I want to say, was it Trevor Orby? Maybe. Anyway, and he's bringing up lengths and you know, and you know, we're all sitting there going, ooh, right? Okay. But then I just saw a video of some young gun who's doing the same thing. And then talk about retreading. I know a young man who does tease cutting. He does a lot of tease cutting. And then I just saw this video of this guy doing tease cutting, you know, and I was like, all right, you know, everything does retread itself, especially in our industry. That's like a lot of the young guys now are getting perms because they want that Patrick Mahomes or as a lot of the guys in the gym call it, the broccoli head haircut. You know, where it's a fade and then it's this mop of curls. Perms. Here we go again. Anybody who threw their perm rods out is really mad right now because you got all these young guys coming in asking for perms. You know, you could go down the list. What comes around goes around. I just saw on a message board on Facebook about someone asking about the most conditioning perm out there. What's the most conditioning perm out there? And I was like, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, the last time I wrapped a perm in anger, you know, I still had hair. And I swore I would never do a perm again, but now I'm thinking, all right, I got people coming and asking for perms. I mean, how do I say no? How do you say no?
Easy.
No.
Yeah, let me refer you to John.
So that's why I'll send them your way.
Thank you, sir or madam, for requesting me to do your perm. I appreciate the thought. I'm going to get you the best perm you've ever had. I'm going to book you an appointment with John. His number is.
Okay. Oh, this is how we're playing, huh? Okay.
What I always do to you anyway.
I know you do. But for those of us that aren't independently wealthy like Eddie, I mean, really, how do you turn down a service that, I don't know about you guys, but when I went through beauty school, I wrapped so many perms. I swear, I used to pretty much have dreams about wrapping perms. But you know, for those, like I said, for those of us that aren't as independently as wealthy as Eddie, you know, you can't turn the service down. You know, especially if it's a service you can accomplish. You know, because some of us aren't allergic to actually making money.
Oh, okay.
Which is a subject for another day.
That's a good
foreshadowing.
I think.
Hold on, wait, hold that thought for a second. You guys watching, put it in the comment section. What's old that's new again in your world? Let us know. Mm-hmm. We want to know.
Very true. Very true. Because one of my favorite moments was from the last class we did in March. Talking about these 7-hour classes that we're doing. I don't know if you remember, there was a moment where we were talking about styling hair, and I was showing, I was showing a blow dry technique. An older stylist said, "Isn't that, what we used to do for sets, locking in sets?" And then a younger stylist said, wait a minute, isn't that the prep for the twirl? And then the two of them started discussing amongst each other, and it really bridged that generational gap. Forget about age gap. I don't care about age gap. But when I say generational gap, I'm talking about young stylists and older stylists.
Right.
I'm not talking about
Age.
age. Yeah, I don't even know the Gen X versus the everybody rest of the world. It seems like right now.
Pretty much.
That I never talk about that because nobody's ever going to win that. Gen X is just Gen X. It is what it is.
We were the generation where our parents still put their hands on us.
Listen, man, if you needed to have a commercial that said it's 10 p.m., do you know where your children are? Okay. If your parents needed to be reminded, where the hell were you? There's no conversation that's going to happen. As it goes, I digress.
Well, hold on. Let me share. Let me give you PTSD. Oh, you're crying? I'll give you something
to cry about. Yes, I know exactly. I could finish every sentence for you. You could start one. I'll finish the sentence for you.
I know. Man. If all your friends are jumping off a building, are you going to?
Yeah, you're gonna follow them too. You know what? Maybe I should have. I wouldn't have been picked on as much.
And instead of, I remember still yelling at my mother, I'm running away. And, today's parents be like, oh, let's get you a therapist and we'll talk about this. My mother used to look at me and go, have fun with your foster family.
My mom said, do you want me to open the door for you or close it after you?
You need help? You need help getting that hefty bag of stuff out the door? Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I know. So, yeah. So, guys, once again, we want to know what's old compared to what's old to what's new again in your world. Let us know. We're very interested. We can talk about it at a later date, or we can even just go back and forth with you. We want to know.
No, to hell with that. I got PTSD. I want to know, how were you told by your parents? That's what I want to know. And I'm waiting for the ultimate. Wait till your father gets home. Oh, the kiss of death. I don't know. Was there anything worse than hearing them words?
Yeah, when you heard his car in the driveway. But so we need to talk about on-stage hair extensions, my friend.
Okay.
And we need to talk about and walk us through, since you being the extension guru that you are.
Is that what I am now?
Yes, you are. You sit with your legs crossed. So you have a client. The extensions have been in for a while. It is time for a reinstall, for lack of a better term. You got to put them back in again. Walk us through that consultation when that person now is sitting again in your chair for the second time or the third time, whatever, and it's time to tighten those bad boys up.
With onstage specifically, it goes like this. Client comes in, sits down. Excuse me. The client comes in, sits down, you brush through their hair. While you're brushing through their hair, it's giving you the opportunity to see, is there any buildup? How much has it grown out? How have they been doing with their hair? And how is their natural hair looking? You start loosening the beads, the onstage weft. Okay, we're talking about the weft or the strands. Onstage hair extensions is a beaded hair system, uses O-ring technology. So it's a newer technology on the market. You open the beads, you pull the whole thing out. You completely pull the whole thing out, whether it's the weft or the strands, okay? And then they have these loops. You rethread these loops with fresh, brand new beads. There is pockets that are built into the weft, or there's pockets that are built into the strands. And you reload this new threaded, this new bead that you threaded into the loop, you push it right back through the pocket of the weft or the strand, and then you reinstall it fresh as if you were doing it the first time. And you're done. It's that easy. It's that simple. And the reason why I'm always saying to use fresh beads is because a lot of people, when they're using a beaded type of hair extension, will tend to open the bead to loosen it, push it right back up, and then re-clamp it, re-close it back down again. The reason why I personally, in my opinion, I don't like that, and it's one of the many reasons that drew me to the onstage O-ring technology specifically, is because you get to replace the bead with a fresh, brand new bead every single time. And that's really important to understand because your hair sheds at a minimum, if nothing else. As the client wearing the hair extensions, your hair naturally sheds. You are going to lose hairs that are attached to the section that's been applied to that bead, which is going to make that section of hair thinner, weaker, more fragile. And if you don't put fresh hair back in there, then the next time you just take that bead, open it up, push it back up, and lock it back down again, now it's only on by 2 strands.
Right.
Well, if one of those 2 strands go out, you're effed.
Right. Right.
And it's going to cause breakage. It's going to cause problems. And I think this is where a lot of the stigma about hair extensions causing damage and breaking hair comes from.
Right.
Is because everybody's so adamant and hell-bent on trying to reuse the same thing over and over and over and over and over. One of the reasons why that happens, though, is because sometimes there are types of beaded hair extensions that don't use the O-ring technology like the Onstage does. And the problem is the ring and the hair are one and the same. They're not 2 separated pieces. You have no choice. You have to reuse that same thing. And to undo the whole thing and put it back in becomes very labor cumbersome for some of the other techniques out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. I understand. But there's got to be a way to get more fresh hair back into that section. I don't know. Like I said, it's very labor cumbersome. So that's one of the issues that happens. So with that said, that's why in particular I like the Onstage, the O-ring. Especially with the weft, why that matters so much more than the strands. You're using a whole weft of hair going across the head. There's got to be a way to balance out all that gravity going across evenly and nicely.
Yep.
It's so important to understand that, because if you don't do that, it gets rough, man.
Yeah.
That gets rough. That's a lot of tension and a lot of stress going across that entirety of that section, right, of that segment. So that's
go ahead. I'm sorry. Talking over.
Oh no, I was gonna say that's what makes the reinstall so simple. That's what makes the maintenance visit so simple.
See what I love to do too is really just do it section by segment by segment. Take the hair out, brush that hair out, get all that whatever has been, because we shed, and that shed hair, that hair that's been shed gets looped around things and stuff. You're able to make a nice clean section, make a nice clean parting again, reload that weft so fast, and you just put it right back in. There's no guessing about where each and every one went, especially if you've mapped out the head and everything. But it's just so simple and easy. I always joke, I always laugh to myself because yesterday I had a maintenance session, and I always remember Bernard, who is a big part of Onstage Extensions, him and his son. And I remember us working a show with him, and he would give while he's talking to people, his son did a reinstall on a mannequin, and he kept going, "Done, Dad. Done, Dad." So now anytime I put a reinstall weft, in the back of my head, I go, "Done, Dad." That's funny to us. A lot of people are like, "Yeah, okay, guys, you're idiots." But look, that story just cost us 2 viewers. But
No, it's one of the cool things about it. What you're talking about though is very specific because you have to trust your client. So
mhm.
you're saying, if you've put a couple of wefts in, as you take the one out, the hair is clean enough. So you're trusting that the client has pre-washed their hair,
All depends. Yeah, yeah.
doesn't have a lot of dirt, buildup, grease, oil, product, whatever,
Usually, I
you
tell
know?
them to before they come in.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're coming in with clean,
Before they
fresh
come
hair.
in, it makes life easier for everybody involved.
Okay.
You know,
I'm all for it. You know your clients. Some clients you're going to be able to do that with. Some clients you may not be able to do that with, right?
right, right.
But I'm all for it. Yeah, if you got good positioning already in place, then yeah, it does make sense. You take out the one section, reload it, clean out the hair,
Mhm.
clean out that section right there, brush out that section really good, reload it, pop it back in. Yeah, okay. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean that's just the way. I mean, I kind of picked that up from Brennan and Bernard, watching them do it, and I thought, wow, what a great idea. Because if not, then in the past, especially if it's not just one giant weft where I've actually mapped out the head and put pieces in, I would like on a second card, I would lay them out where like they were on the head, just so I didn't goof it up in because things happen. You get pulled away for 2 seconds from something else, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, where does this piece go? Where does that piece, um, and the strands, and especially if you're putting the strands in too, because if they're fringe strands, and you cut them to a certain length, and then you put it in the wrong place,
Yeah, that shows up.
big time, big
Yeah, that
time.
shows up big time.
So, but yeah, on stage extensions have been a godsend to some of my clients. They're not for every client. Let's be honest. They're not for every client. Some people are definitely better candidates for keratin, the keratin bonds, but that's a discussion for another day. But on stage extensions has been a amazing addition to what I can do and also to my revenue stream. Huge, huge. I can't, nothing made me happier than the day you trained me on those. So,
I've been after you a long time about that. I've been after you
well,
a long, long time about that.
even here, it's the reverse. Something old can learn something new.
Nice. Very, very
So,
nice.
and for all you guys watching out there, hey, look, if I can do them, you guys can do them. You guys are there's so many more people that are more talented than I am, believe me. So that's check them out. Check out the on-stage extensions. It is and the maintenance is so simple for both you and your clients, and it's just another revenue stream for you.
Cool. Very, very cool.
So wow, we're at motivation time already.
Motivation time.
Are you ready, or should you got anything else you want to cover?
No,
No?
nope.
Nope.
I love the motivation part,
Okay.
especially lately. I've really been digging the motivation part.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
I can do things you cannot do. You can do things I cannot do. Together, we can do great things.
Ta-da. You can do things I cannot do. I can do things you cannot do. Together, we can do great things.
How's that work for you?
I like that, man. I like that. That goes right in line with what I've been harping on. I've been on a soapbox lately about getting along and coexisting.
If you put one of those bumper stickers on your car,
I'm just saying.
If
I've
you
been on a soapbox lately about that, man. I really have been.
if you put one of those coexist bumper stickers on your car, I want you to put it right next to your metal militia one. It's bumper sticker.
It's how you and I coexist.
No, metal militia saved your life.
Saved your life.
Not on your best day
Saved
there.
your kneecaps is what it saved.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. That's a nice quote, you know?
It is. It speaks volumes. It really speaks a lot to me, because, especially from the environment that I came from, that I spent a long time in, I never really cared what people were doing, um, but I know people that used to just scour the computerized book, and oh, this person's got more than me, and this person's got more than B, and this person, you know, I don't care what people can do, what people, who's busy, who's not busy, and all that. I just want to work together. And there were things that there are still things I'm not good at. I'm serviceable at best, and I would much rather refer them over to someone who can give them what they want. I mean, I'm a good hair cutter, but Jason, who's right across from me, his eye and the way his bobs are absolutely flawless. He's a flawless hair cutter. And if it's a really complex haircut, I have no problem going, hey, you know what? Let's get you over to Jason. He's going to really give you what you want. And that's what it's all about. Same thing with you and me. You know, you're good at things, and then there are things that I'm good at, and that's why you and I, for God, 17 years have have been 17 years have been teaching classes and doing the things that we do. And that's why then you and I have Darren, because Darren knows the marketing end of things and the business end of things that would never even cross either one of our minds. And I do, coexisting is the way of the world, and that's how we all flourish. Together we will, two heads are better than one, right? Three heads are better. Well, in our case, it's 2.5 heads. Because I have brain damage, so. But 100%, I can do things you cannot. You can do things I cannot. Together, we can do great things, and I strongly urge everybody, especially in what we do, you can't just stand alone. You are not, one man is not an island. One person is not an island. There are people that are going to do things better than you, and that's awesome. And I like to learn from those people. At least hopefully then I can raise my game up a little bit too. So that's what that says to me.
I think when it comes to the salon environment, finding somebody who is, I talk about this a lot, partnering up. If you're weak in one aspect of hairdressing, find somebody who works with you, who is better at it than you are. Partner up with them. Swap, barter, trade, help. Either way, donate your time, however it works. And it's fun. It's fun because when somebody equally comes to you to learn something, or when somebody is teaching you, you're on the receiving end of learning, somebody's teaching you something, you just automatically stand taller.
Yeah.
You do get excited. That motivation in of itself is amazing. It's awesome. So I like it. Yeah, that's a cool one. That's a really, really good one.
It is a good one.
I defer to you on life. A lot of the things, like when I don't know what to do in social situations, I don't know what social etiquette dictates. You're way better at it than I am. So I refer to you all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and common sense. You have way more common sense than I do, because you've lived a life. You've experienced some stuff. I 100%. That's why we work as a team. I agree with you 100%. Find someone that you can team up with, because you know what? There isn't anything you can't accomplish with two sets of eyes on something too.
All right. What
So
is the preview going to look like for the May class? Because we keep talking about June 16 date because that's the new date we added.
right, May. So here's the preview. Hopefully, I don't throw myself down the stairs again. First off, you're not allowed near anything that can damage your hands.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was rough.
Okay. So here's the deal. We're going to cover Xenogen. We're going to cover All Nutrient. We are going to cover both she and on-stage hair extensions. We are going to also cover Therapy. And we are going to be also throwing in a couple of haircuts, some more knowledge, salon environment things. There's also a lunch, which is your favorite because they put an apple in the lunch. I know that. And there will be, we will be taking orders. Darren and those guys out in the front will be taking orders. If there are products that you may want to purchase, may or may not. There's going to be specials. If you're there, you get a special pricing on things. If I'm not mistaken, am I mistaken on that? Yes. So I mean, it is a full day of education. Everybody goes, 7 hours. It went by like a shot. I mean, it went by really fast last time. And so I think that this time it'll probably be the same. It's a great 7 hours. You will be entertained. We're going to teach Eddie how to bounce a ball on the end of his nose like a trained seal. And that's the preview. I think if you've never experienced anything from HTB, this is going to be a treat, because with the niche products that we have, with the product lines that we have that aren't all over the world, everywhere, it's going to blow your mind. We've got some great knowledge for you, some great tips, techniques. I just can't say enough about what we cram into 7 hours.
I think the reason, because it goes by so fast, also is the topics that we cover as well. And there is so much jam packed in there.
Yeah.
We talk about thinning and shedding, scalp conditions,
Yep.
weight loss issues. All the things that makes hair weak, fall out,
Yep.
brittle, stressed. We go over coloring techniques, why color is successful, why it fails. You were talking about the haircuts. I mean, we did 4. We were planning on doing 3. We ended up doing 4 different haircuts last time. So we'll see how many we end up doing this time.
And then we get into keratin depletion.
Yeah.
And then we also get into some thermal styling too, about with all that. So it's a jam day. It's a jam day. Like I said, I know we're focusing on, we're not focusing, but we have that 4th date coming up, 3rd date, sorry. That we have that 3rd date coming up in June. So if you need hours, or you're interested in what we've got going on and you have your hours, come spend the day with us. Knowledge does not hurt. And you walk out, and there's some door prizes and things like that for you guys. So yeah, come check us out. htbbeauty.com. It's on there. Or you can call the office, which the phone number is what, Eddie?
It's 847-741-5000.
And either Darren or Cindy, or maybe even sometimes Eddie, will answer the phone and say, hey, I want to come to your next 7-hour class. But also on htbbeauty.com, you can see the list of classes that we're offering besides that. We have a bunch of after all these events, we have a bunch of classes coming up, and you can check all that out. So that's all I got.
What is your bet? Which segment is going to get the most attention?
See,
last time the hair extensions got the most attention, which I was not prepared for. I didn't realize it was going to do that.
See, I'm thinking that the hair extensions is actually going to be, because once people see, if you're not an extensionist or you're a moderate extensionist, like say I am, when you see the on stage technique and those wefts go in, people are just drawn to it. That's what I'm thinking.
I was not prepared for that. When I was tired after that segment, you're like, dude, I gave you double time. I'm like, what?
Yeah, you were on a tear. Eddie goes off on his rants, and his rants are entertaining, too. So
yeah, to you.
Come check us out, guys. And for everybody that's stuck with us for the past 55 minutes, we greatly appreciate you. And we are going to be back same bat time, same bat channel next week. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great rest of your week. Make some money.
Yep. Catch you later.
The SFTB podcast was not recorded in front of a live studio audience, so thanks for joining us for today's episode. If our hair topics made you smile, give us a thumbs up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll read them while waiting for our caller to process. Share this video with your stylists and friends. It helps us make a difference, one strand at a time. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because your hair deserves all the latest and greatest tips.